Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Pig for Life, and we're doing our very first community Chatterday. Something that I said literally a year ago that I wanted to do, never came to fruition. Hard to get people committed on similar topics, but we got it going thanks to my two inaugural guests. We got Niles French here on, I guess, my left,
What's up,
and then we got
everyone?
Mike Rogers down below.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so I'm gonna bring in. Oops, sorry. Oh no, no, don't want to spoil anything. All right, so this is the very first Community Chatterday, Season 1, Episode 1. We're going to get started. And just a really quick, I worked very hard on this, if you can't tell, on the top left here. If you guys are a fan of Community, you might know who's behind there. It's the Asian teacher, and Senor Chang. So I took up the token Asian spot in this. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with guest tech specs. I want to find out a little bit more about you guys. Let the audience know who you guys are. And again, the whole goal of this community chatter day really is to try to get more people who are just regular viewers, not other YouTubers necessarily, although I definitely will have them, people who are, grassroots part of the community, whether they're from their local community or the online community. I wanted to bring in just random people who had an interest in just coming on board, showing their face, and letting people what they're interested in and their background. So, with that, let me go ahead and start off with Mike Rogers. I gave him the Decepticon symbol because I know Mike a little bit, and he's definitely a Deceptic creep. So, Mike, why don't you give us a little bit of background? Who are you? Where are you from? What are you
Yeah.
into?
Well, let's see. I am in Maryland, here in the lovely city of Baltimore. Wow. What do you want to say? I mean, I grew up. I was an '80s kid. Nostalgia's in my blood. Anything and everything that I could get into when I was younger, I've kind of kept into it. So I'm an older body with a young kid's mind. I really got back into this whole part of this community, I guess you want to say. I've kind of followed off and on, but never really got back into it until we hit lockdown and I had nothing but time at my work. So I started watching some of the talent that was going through, and they started talking about Transformers and of all the '80s things. If it wasn't He-Man or GI Joe, it was Transformers, and that's where I met. Well, not met, but got to know creators like yourself, Pake, and TM Reviews, T-Man. I mean, you can go through the whole gambit of, you know, great content creators and those otherwise, and then just really started talking to everyone as things progressed. And I got to know TM, and next thing you know, I started picking up these these little figures that suddenly were $100 compared to like $5 when I was younger, and I've just been continuing on with that, and I got a chance to meet a lot of you guys this past October at TFCon, and really getting more into that nostalgia feel. I mean, you get a certain figure, you get excited when it finally shows up at your house, and all of a sudden you pick up one of these guys or anything, and as you start hearing that theme song in your head from when you were sitting there Saturday mornings watching TV religiously and praying that your parents didn't say, "Hey, we're gonna go out for the morning." Um, but that's really it. I mean, like I said, I have a 17-year-old. Well, he's going to be 17 this Wednesday, son. And funny with this topic, he and I were talking about it earlier this week, and I'll definitely try to bring in some of the similarities and vast differences between how I was at 17 and younger to how he's grown up in a totally different world. But I've rambled on enough on things. So,
Well, no, I think one of the things that you touched upon is getting older and being able to afford that. I think you know, adults with expendable cash is something that unites a lot of us here. So thanks for the background, Mike. And yeah, Mike and I met online for a while, and then we finally met up at TFCon Baltimore for the first time. So it was good hanging out with him, getting some food with him, and everything like that. All right, now to our Autobot of the day, Niles French. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Niles.
Hey, everybody. I'm Niles French. I'm from Staten Island, New York City. I am not a defensive strategist like Trailbreaker here, but definitely Transformers has been my main point of nostalgia. I have never really fallen off of it as far as collecting, watching the shows, memorabilia, all those sort of things. And it's for me the gimmick of something that could be a puzzle, a toy, an action figure that has always stood head and above all of the other 80s toys for the most part. And about 2018, I started collecting Masterpiece, and I didn't know the difference between a Chug or a Legend or anything like that. And I started seeing videos from Pake, TM Reviews, Bobby Skullface, and realized that there was other people, in this community and local as well too. So it really got me thinking about, not only just how I collect and why I collect, but wanting to speak to other people, getting involved, going to different cons and toy fairs and things like that. I have not been to the Maryland area TF cons, but plan on going next year. And yeah, definitely the pandemic has for sure, made me look at the way that I'm displaying. It went from just collecting figures to really just how am I displaying, what do I want out of my collection, why do I like paint and articulation and things of that nature. And when you start speaking to people, it really brings on what you like and why you collect. And and then I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but I've was into anime. I'm an 80s kid as well. But so a lot of these reboots, right, and things that have because of different streaming services have now become available. Pake was just talking about how we had cable TV in the past, and now everything's really at your fingertips. The only reason why I downloaded Tubi is because someone told me that all of the Transformer episodes were there. So there's all these touch points of where to watch, why you watch, and all of it is very community driven. And for me, that's a very important part of why I'm involved in this. And thank you very much for hosting us.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, again, thanks so much for making it easy this time. It came together quick after my last stream, so I appreciate you guys coming on board. So if you guys didn't catch it, today's topic is the toys that made us. Hopefully that Netflix show doesn't sue me for stealing that name, or at least putting a spin on that name. So today we're going to focus on different nostalgic cartoons, probably turned to like Mike says, kind of during the 80s, maybe 90s, early 90s, and stuff like that. So people have been asking in the channel, like, what is this Chatterday about? What is the topic? So the goal is to change topics all the time. It doesn't have to be about Transformers. Honestly, I think I would prefer if we expanded the horizons of this and expanded beyond that, because I don't know about you guys, but you guys have mentioned other areas of interest. Mike talked about not just Transformers being a big part of it, but having other interests as well. So I'd like to see what we are, not just within this community that brought us together, but what other interests are out there. So I think cartoons is a very easy segue, not a too far of a jump to get us from Transformers into cartoons. So that's why I think this one came together very quickly. All right, so thanks for that. All right, so before we get started, I wanted to do a new segment. I mean, all these segments are new because this is the first one, but I wanted to start us off with a little bit of this or that. So this is a little game that I want you guys all to play along with, and bear with me because I'm going to have to type these in the poll as they come up. I can't schedule them, but basically I'm going to bring up two different cartoons from our childhood or teenage years, and you guys are going to have to, not just Niles and Mike, but you guys in the chat, I'm going to put up a poll, vote for which one you prefer, this one or that one, and we're going to go off of that. Okay, so
Right.
First up, Care Bears or Another bear family, gummy bears.
Oh wow.
Oh,
All right. So hold on. Let me go ahead and throw that poll in the chat. Did that come up in the poll? Hopefully. Somebody let me know if that came up. There we go. Okay, so sorry. It took a little while to come up in YouTube. So go ahead. If you're on the YouTube live, you can go ahead and vote. And we'll see what everyone votes for as we discuss it. So who wants to take a first stab at it? Niles, Mike?
Well, I'm going to vote for a bear in this case. I can tell you that. So I have to say, Gummy Bears definitely has the better theme song of the two, but I have to go with those cloud cars for sure. And I got to vote for Care Bears in this case. And let's not forget, you did have the Care Bear cousins as well. So I like that diversity theme going. So I'll go with them.
Oh, nice. Very good answer.
right.
Very political. Gave a little bit of both. All right. So what about you, Mike?
Well, I'm going to have to go opposite. Care Bears, while colorful and joyful, and they had that whole variety of stuff with their personalities, I'm still going to have to go with the whimsical, bouncing gummy bears and the adventures they had on Saturdays. Those bears and their gummy berry juice and everything just struck a chord when I was younger. And again, they were part of that Saturday morning routine, and they're going to stick it out on me on this one here. Gummy Bears over Care Bears.
Ooh, so that means I had to be the tiebreaker for at least this live stream. This was a tough one. Obviously, I went with the bear theme. I'm gonna say just because I watched it more recently, and I think I probably watched more episodes, I gotta go with Gummy Bears. The reason is we were watching with my kids. Gummy Bears came up. I forget what streaming network it was on, but it came up, and I started watching with my kids. And like Niall said, that theme song that hits hard. That hits hard. And then they actually had like a guest starring role, or the Gummy Bear Juice did in the new DuckTales. I don't know if you guys have seen the
I haven't seen
reboot of
that.
DuckTales.
I haven't seen that one episode.
That is like the Saturday morning like cartooniverse, like kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's crossovers from all sorts of stuff, like Tailspin, Gummy Bears, Darkwing Duck, T-Man. I don't know if T-Man. Oh, there he is. T-Man's in there.
He's in there?
He knows that. If you guys haven't watched the new DuckTales, you gotta watch it. It's awesome.
I'll check that out.
So it looks like, at least for us, Gummy Bears won. So let me look over here and see what the vote is. It looks like, it's very close. 57% say Care Bears. So
wow.
Niles and the stream are very narrowly edging out Gummy Bears with their Care Bears votes.
All right.
Interesting. All right.
What about that Care Bear stare?
I think it's a reinforcement.
I just never understood that, like, that phrase, because they were, doing with their chest. Like, I don't know, that's not really a stare.
Yeah, I don't. They all kind of locked arms, and we will overcome, and they did. So that was good.
All right, so hold on. I got to get the next poll set up. I don't even remember what the next one is, but let's move on. All right, first up is Dinosaurs. So again, sticking with the theme. Can you guys guess what the other one is going to be? Who are Dinosaurs is going to go against? No? Nobody can guess another dinosaur show?
Dino Riders, maybe? There's one season.
Dino Riders is a good one. It's not that one. All right, I'll move on. It is Denver the Last Dinosaur.
I couldn't think of his name.
So we're gonna put this poll up. Hold on. This or that, number 2 for cartoon nostalgia. Dinosaurs or Denver the Last Dinosaur. So Niles went first last time. Mike, you go first. Which one are you going to go with?
These are some deep cuts. I love it. Wow. Dinosaurs or Denver? While they both had definitely their quirkiness and their characters that were there for shtick, I'm going to have to kind of stick it with Dinosaurs. It was just my theme kind of growing up. It was more the technical, or not technical, but space-oriented type of stuff. And just the variety of dinosaurs all over it.
All right, so we got one for Dinosaurs. Niles?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dinosaurs as well too. I have to tell you, I don't remember any of the names of the characters, but I do remember, like Mike said, definitely the space theme and the exploration, and it was similar to Transformers in the sense that they had human friends, and that's whole sort of thing. So definitely going with the Dinosaurs on this one as well too.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of them. I just remember Aloe, the leader of the. I don't even know what the good guys' names were, but I
Right.
remember Aloe because he's an Allosaurus.
Okay.
And that's the first time I was like, hey, there's like a good guy T-Rex. Because, as a kid, you're just like, T-Rex is like a badass bad guy, not like a good guy. So, all right. So 2 for Dinosaurs. For me, I got to go the other way. I watched Dinosaurs, but Denver the Last Dinosaur, I don't know why. It's like the cheesiest show. It kind of reminds me of what was that what was that movie with Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser where it was like the
Encino
caveman?
Man.
Encino Man.
It felt
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Encino Man,
Right,
but
right.
you have a dinosaur. And both of these, I picked both of these though because they both had like 80s rocking theme songs, like Dinosaurs, and then the rocking guitar. And then obviously Denver had Denver, the last dinosaur.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
And
Very
we got
cool.
Robot Show Tunes throwing out a bunch of the names for these characters.
Oh, well, man, yeah.
Wow.
See,
Thank you.
There's nothing like a
Biodome.
Right. There's nothing like an 80s jingle that just made you remember everything. Like we said, we can't remember who's on either one of these shows, but we remember the theme song. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
Marketing worked. Yeah.
Oh man, Dinosaurs is by 75%. Killed it. All right. I'm all alone on that apparently. And John Gavin said Encino Man is a good movie. Yeah, that was like Brendan Fraser at his peak. All right, let me end this poll real quick, and then we'll go to the next one. I think I have like 5 or 6 of these. I don't remember. I got kind of carried away. Oh, speaking of DuckTales.
All right.
I don't know who I have them going up against. Any guesses? Any guesses? Probably some kind of other animal. Oh no, I remember.
Darkwing Duck, maybe. Did you put that?
Oh, that was a close. That's a good. That's a close one. It's not that one. Okay. I didn't stick strictly with ducks this time. Mike, no guess.
Nope. I'm going all in fresh. So
all right,
no expectations.
Right. So putting the poll out there, it is Chippendale Rescue Ranger.
Oh my gosh.
So I let you guys go first each. I'll go first this time. This was a tough one again. And again, the new DuckTales, the one that just ended, I think during COVID, it had like 3 or 4 solid, super good seasons. You got to watch it. Remember I said it was like the cinematic universe for cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons. Rescue Rangers also cameoed in there multiple times. So I got to go with DuckTales. Again, just a rocking theme. Loved Uncle Scrooge and his like money grubbing ways. Just the adventures. I love Glomgold. I mean, like all the villains are super iconic in that. So I think just the adventures that it went on were kind of a grander scale. And again, DuckTales, woohoo! You can't get away from that theme. All right, Niles, what you got?
Definitely DuckTales. I mean, I think if you think about it, right, it's Disney again, reintroducing and repackaging, but in a fun way, these properties that they've had forever. But how do you not want to jump into money? I mean, Gizmo Duck, right? Launchpad. I mean, it's just the best. The sense of adventure in DuckTales is the best. I remember the NES video game. If anyone remembers that, I mean, that was really cool.
And the remake that came out, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Not that long ago. So for me, yeah, it's a home run with DuckTales for sure.
Yeah, he was pogoing on his cane.
Right.
Yep.
It's his finisher.
All right, Mike, where are you on this DuckTales versus Chippendales?
This is the hat trick. I mean, it's DuckTales all the way. Just again, the memorable characters, Gizmo Duck, and all his contraptions in there. The music, everything about it. I mean, it just screams fun times. Each of the brothers have their own personality going into it. It's just fun watching, and it was something that you wanted to go home and make sure you didn't miss.
And I feel like every 80s show had to have, like, again, that Encino Man character. What was his name? Bubba? Bubba.
Oh yeah,
Oh yes.
he
He
kind
had
of
the
grunted and stuff.
Triceratops too, right?
Right.
All right. Well, I think this is what probably a blowout. Let me switch over to see what the poll says. Yeah, this is even a bigger landslide, 77%. But I will say, what's her name? Was it Gadget? Gadget, the girl on Chip and Dale
Gadget
Rescue?
and Monterey Jack were the 2 additional.
Yeah,
Oh,
her dad, right?
man. There you go.
Gadget. I'm not gonna lie, I had a crush on her. I had a cartoon crush on Gadget. She had that mechanic outfit and the goggles.
Right,
and
right.
She had that.
Yeah.
What they used to call it, the plika plika, whatever. All right, so
I
that's
like
all.
that.
Let's
That's
end that
funny.
one real quick. And Zipper, oh yeah, Zipper, the little bug mascot sidekick. All right, so we'll end that poll. All right, let's keep going. What's the next one? Let's see. Oh, here's a little bit
Oh,
of anime.
wow.
For you
Okay.
now.
All right.
All right, let me hold up. Any idea what the contender will be?
Please tell me it's not the car version.
No, that would not be a competition. I got to keep it a little close.
Oh wow.
Huh.
I want to see the Gundam. So you guys got to remember, these are supposed to be kind of like, we're not talking about anime. We're mostly talking about West, at least cartoons that came to the West during our time. So
Maybe Robotech. I mean, that's another.
that was one I was gonna pick.
Yeah.
But I didn't go with Robotech. All right.
Golden Girls. Thanks, John.
Saber Rider. It better not be Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah.
He meant it better not be Transformers. Yeah. No, that wouldn't be fair based on the audience here. So I posted up the poll. You get one vote. You can't switch it. But he's going up against Transor Z.
Okay.
You guys remember that they came out with this name in the West instead of Mazinga?
Mm-hmm.
I had VHSs of both of these.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Transor Z was the Sunday morning before church that you tried to watch a little bit. So,
all right. So cast your votes, everyone. I'm gonna let Mike go ahead first and let us know if you watched either of these, which ones you were more leaning towards.
I definitely watched both, and I'm gonna have to go with my favorite cat team. It's Voltron all the way. It was different in regards to the style that, growing up watching, like in the Saturday morning cartoons and stuff. This was definitely, Asian inspired. The sleek lines, the way the action was moving across. I mean, the fight scenes themselves, they were just quick cuts here and there. And it would just pull you in. And the fact that it was not like your regular Saturday morning cartoon, in that it was basically one episode was the entire story. They grew upon each other. It created that entire epic through the series. So definitely Voltron has a bigger hold on me than Transor Z. Like I said, I remember watching it and the little spacecraft that went into the head and going around rocket fists or whatever it was.
Rocket Punch, man. Rocket Punch.
Rocket Punch.
My bad.
Come on.
But yeah, definitely Voltron.
All right. Now
Voltron, other than Transformers, Voltron is, in my top 4 or 5 list as well. And again, I think the intro of Voltron with Peter Cullen's voice, I mean, just setting the stage. And, even I thought Netflix's remake of this was done very well, but the spirit of Voltron, for me, that's the first combiner, right? I mean, Power Rangers, all these other, forming this and that. I mean, Voltron for me was my first foray into seeing that. And, I remember me and my brother playing this and everything like that. So for me, Voltron all the way, story and everything like that. Yeah, I think maybe a lot of people are not familiar with Transor Z. I mean, I remember seeing it, but I don't remember it being on all the time, as Mike pointed out. So definitely had more exposure to Voltron.
Oh man.
And I like one thing you said. I'm assuming we're going to touch on it later on. Is that the recent remake or re-envisionment of Voltron and how that affects one's viewpoint. Whether rose-colored glasses or not, and we have other examples of that we can go on with as well. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so this one's tough for me because, like I said, I had both of these on VHS. I think I'd still have them if I go to my parents' house. and I love both. I mean, most people don't know, I guess, the Transzord Z name, again, the westernized version of Mazinga. What was it? One of Xenomorph in the
Xenomorph. Yeah.
and he said, never heard of Transzord Z. If you haven't heard the granddaddy of super robots, Chogokin, I mean, Mazinga Z, man, he's the godfather. But I think Western wise, I can understand how we're all pro Voltron. Like you guys said, the just the dynamic colors, them all coming together, forming. And I remember, I think we talked about this before, Mike, maybe in our chat. But I remember how they changed the story for like when Sven got injured very badly
right.
and
Yes.
just never came back. I didn't even know until I was an adult that he died. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
But I got to go with them. I mean, I love both of them. I have a super robot shelf dedicated to them. Like literally,
Cool.
I have two Voltrons and 3 Mazinga Z's right there, a 4. So it's a hard pick, but as far as nostalgia growing up, Voltron all the way, the Blazing Sword and everything like that, and all the Robeasts. So I got to go with Voltron as well. I bet you the dang, it's 100% Voltron.
Wow.
100%.
100%. Dang, not one Mazinga fan out there. Dang, that's harsh. Seriously, he is the godfather of super robots. He came before Voltron. Show some respect. Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on my name.
100%. Oh man. All right. So we're gonna move on to. I think this might be the last one. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to skip. So we'll go with this one. Let me see. Any guesses on who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? A cornerstone.
Oh, Street Sharks.
Biker Mice from Mars. Bucky O'Hare.
You gotta think of something that I put that could go up against Teenage Mutant
Ninja
Turtles, though.
I mean, that's a big intellectual property. I don't know.
Bucky O'Hare, Battletoads, Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters. No, I did Pac-Man. Come on, Pac-Man's not gonna
Pac-Man.
Who did I put up against them? Actually, I'm gonna try to see. I don't even know.
Oh,
Thundercats!
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Thundercats. All right, so I'm putting the poll up.
This one.
You have one vote. You can't change your vote. All right, so we went with Mike first last time, right? So now I feel like this is where it's getting hard.
Yeah.
Niles, where are you at on this? Turtles or cats?
This is tough because, I think one thing that we might talk about is other forms of media that are associated with cartoons and toys, and that's comic books, right? And I think after I started watching the cartoon as a kid, I went back and I read a lot of the old Turtles comic books, and even now the IDW ones. Like, they're written very, very well, very story driven and character development. But I mean, Thundercats is, I'm not as familiar as the other forms of media for Thundercats, so I'd have to say I'm going to just go with the Turtles, just as a full collective, entity, edging out Thundercats because of its more adult history and stuff like that, and different incarnations. I love both. I don't know. It's
a lot of people don't realize that like the Turtles came out as comics first, and it was way darker.
Super dark.
So you've been reading The Last Ronin and everything like that?
Yeah.
Great.
It's great read.
All right, well, we won't spoil that for people, even though it's not that new anymore. But all right, so we got one vote for Ninja Turtles. Mike, where are you at? Turtles or cats?
Oh my gosh, this one's really, really difficult because both these shows came out, really close to each other, and it was like the end of the 80s into the early 90s, and like I said, the media that was associated with it varies so much. I mean, like you guys were saying, the comics that came out with Eastman and Laird, they were so dark and adult, and then you look, the cartoon itself was just a total opposite, but yet it filled that formula that was there for kids to follow along, and it did its job. I mean, it sold toys left and right. Thundercats, again, this is one of those, you got home from school and you turned it on just to catch up on episodes, and I think T-Man said it best there in the chat, is that between the two, Ninja Turtles are still alive and kicking. So I have to go with Turtles.
Well, I mean, they did Thundercats Ho. Isn't that still going on?
Oh, you're
That's a new one. That's like kind of like
like
that
kiddish, I guess.
that was canceled.
like
Right.
like Steven Universe style like drawings. You know, very.
Now they did try to do a darker reboot. I don't know if it was
on
it
Cartoon
Nickelodeon?
Network. I want to
That
say
yeah.
a while ago. I don't remember too much about it, but
No, and it actually wasn't that bad. But it just was a slow burn, and then they canceled it right when things were starting to actually ramp up in the story. It was cut. So yeah, it's a tough break. I mean, some of these great shows, just they try to come back out, and some work, some don't.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta see if I actually still have this thing.
Oh God, we're going into the closet.
Oh, I do. Go into the closet. All right, so we got 2 for Ninja Turtles. I'll show you my tried and true colors. I
oh
still have this
wow,
childhood Ninja
Dude.
Turtle pillowcase. I lived with this through. I brought this to college with me, and
wow.
the first year, my freshman year, I was in my dorm, and my parents were like, "Can't believe you're taking a Ninja Turtles pillow with you." And I was like, "I don't give a f." First year, there was a sophomore on my floor. Went into his room. He had the Ninja Turtle blankets.
Nice.
He had the bed sheets and everything, and I had the pillows. I was like, we were best friends for life.
Yeah,
Sweet.
little slumber
Thundercats,
party action.
Thundercats. I remember always doing any sword I picked up as a kid. I wasn't Leonardo. I definitely always held that sword up like this and was doing
Mhm.
the
Sight beyond
sight
sight.
beyond
Yeah.
sight.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
this one's a hard one, but I gotta go with Ninja Turtles. I think T put it best. They're still alive. I think the fact that they've gotten rebooted a bunch of times, and a lot of them, I'm not gonna say all of them are great, but a lot of them are really good, and
Mhm.
they have stayed like relevant, I think, in pop culture. But Thundercats, I think that Super Seven is doing those super detailed figures, and then what was that one? The vehicle that they're doing that's like
Oh,
$500.
they're doing the Thunder Tank.
Oh, they're
Thunder
doing a
Tank.
Thunder Tank. Wow. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
that
even know
one.
that. Very cool.
Yeah. So
So
that one looks like it was a blowout for us, but Thundercats ended up winning out in the
Wow.
audience, 62%.
interesting. Now
Very
I have a
cool.
question. What is it specifically that everyone who voted for Thundercats? What is the one thing that hits you about it? I mean, was it the weapons? Because I mean, who can remember? Who can forget each of these guys? They had their signature weapon that like you were saying, you had a stick or whatever, and that was your sword. I remember grabbing. This is going to sound funny, but Christmas time when you had the gift wrap
Hmm.
rolls, you kind of tore it up just enough, and you can all of a sudden you got your nunchucks, and it could go
Yeah.
the same for Michelangelo too. So I mean, it's just
No,
it's
but
like I said, it's
Panther had
crazy.
that. Panther had his. Remember with his nunchucks,
Two
he
Absolutely,
had the
nunchucks.
claw at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
end,
yes.
and Chitara
Wow.
had the whip. Come on, and then the
Oh no,
Wiley
no,
Kid had
Tiger
the
had the whip.
slingshot.
Chitara had the
Yeah.
bow staff.
Oh yeah. What's it called? Tiger.
Tiger had
Tigra.
the
Tigra, yeah,
Mhm.
he had the
whips.
bullwhip or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, my bad. Chitara did
Yes.
have the bow, so they all got their stuff too.
Yeah.
But I
And
guess the
and
fact that like we can't even, I can barely remember Tiger's name, while I can definitely remember all of these Italian artist names for Ninja Turtles. That
but
probably
the
speaks
cool thing with
volumes.
both of these is that the secondary characters or the ones that came, whether it was the second season or later into the series, I mean, those were just you can still remember. Like I remember Bengali for
Right.
Thundercats, and then
Mhm.
you had now
Willa, the characters in the trees and everything. There was
yes,
Thundercats was also animated at the time. There was nothing that looked like that to me. And each character had their own theme music. I mean, that really Thundercats was a great program. I mean,
yes,
no doubt about it.
and apparently there are things like Thighs of Thunder and Panthers thighs amongst the group. So there, again, it's during that time when people were growing up that feelings were there and chemical bodies are
That
changing.
singlet,
And
man, that singlet that Chitara had.
That's right.
people now are going back on YouTube to look at that first episode of Thundercats when they were all walking around buck naked and
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh shit, damn, that's going back.
Right.
Oh man. All right. Well, that was a good one. I'm surprised that we did a clean sweep here on Ninja Turtles, but the audience has spoken.
That's what we love about this.
Let me end this one. I think we might only have one left at most.
One more, okay.
Yeah, let's see who we have. Oh, another heavy hitter, He-Man. Just had Masters of the Universe and that weird new one, which I didn't watch with my kids
on Netflix.
Yeah, he had two shows, so he's still going strong.
That one actually isn't bad.
Oh, really?
As it sounds. Yeah, the one that was more kid friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Really good story, honest to God. I wasn't one of those. I looked at it again and saw the promo images. I'm like, this is crap, whatever. But you started watching it, and I'm telling you, I liked it more than the Kevin Smith re-envisionment.
Really? I like that one though.
Yeah. I mean, art aside, I think again it was hitting. Those nostalgia notes and rose-colored glasses and some of the changes, both in the story itself and externally, and just the changes in the world. It kind of was really making it complex. Where the one that was more kid-oriented, it had a pretty straight story, and it was really you wanted to go to the next one. I wasn't distracted or looking somewhere else whenever that.
Man, I don't even think I need to show the next one. Mike, I think, has already cast his vote. No pun in the side. All right. Well, they're going up against G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
A real American hero.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So, who are you going to vote for? This guy that's in, like, furry underwear versus the guys who defended the U.S. of A.? USA.
So loincloth thighs versus
right.
Ginger Warrior. Oh man.
And Ninja Knight. He had like a weird knight helmet, even though he was a ninja that was a white dude, I guess, that lived in Japan. I don't know. He had the most convoluted story that went mute and burned his face. Like he had the craziest backstory if you think about it.
Yeah.
And again, it's another example of the difference between the comics and the cartoon, and how each of the worlds were presented. So who you go first, Henry?
Oh, I was super spoiled. I'd mentioned I was super spoiled as a kid, only child. My parents were, middle class, upper middle class. So I had literally every character that you can see on that screen on He-Man. Wow. I had every character that's on that G.I. Joe. I had like that huge mobile base that I don't even know what it was called for G.I. Joe. That was like,
it had shreds on it as well. It was like tan, right?
It literally was in the closet because that's the only place it could fit in. I had both the castles. So in terms of which ones I had more toys of, I don't even know. But I think, man, I should have picked these two. I don't even know.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one for people.
I'm going to go with He-Man. I'm going He-Man. Masters of the Universe. Right. I know that's a super tough call, but I guess, oh, man. I think it's just because the characters that they had were all kind of unique and the toys were unique. Like, his name, I always call him Extendor, but that's not his name. But the Silver Knight guy that had
his neck popped up.
Neck?
No, it was like extend
oh,
something.
Yeah. He had like the gold face.
Yeah, and then I had him, and then I had like the really stinky one, the skunkor.
Oh, Stinkor.
Oh yeah, Stinkor. Yeah,
Stinkor. Right. And then I had the green Moss Man. The toys themselves were just so cool, and I still remember that smell. And then the one that was like a mosquito that had blood in the chest, you press the button in his back and the blood
squeeze up.
So toy wise, I just felt like they were so much cooler, and just because the fantastic element of it. So I'm gonna go He-Man. But that's a tough one. This one I feel like could go either way.
Absolutely.
All right, now where are you at on this?
I definitely have more of a connection with G.I. Joe. I too had a lot of He-Mans, but for me, so much like you, talked about the differences in the characters. For me, G.I. Joe had all these different play sets and things that you could kind of add on. So for me, that was a thing that I really attached. I never had like the USS Flag, or I didn't even have that big tank thing that you just referred to. But all of the kind of character spotlights, again, the comic books, I loved buying the G.I. Joe and then, turning over and, the name is classified, like, wow, you know what I mean? Or like, Snake Eyes might be the coolest, most mysterious character ever. But for me, the universe, much like Transformers, which follow the G.I. Joe model, really hands down G.I. Joe, I really much more prefer because of the action figures and the universe around it, much more so than He-Man.
Okay.
Mike,
Wow.
you're the tiebreaker, man.
I know this is
this is tough.
This is really tough because they both have. You guys both talked about it. It was the whole world that formulated around each other, and it clicked. You had the toys, the play sets. They drew you into that world. Now, and again, some of the way the toys were made were different from what you saw on TV, but it was just the way the messages came about towards you, the stories. Again, you had your spotlight episodes. It was a perfect formula for cartoons and selling toys. And the fact that these two shows are a really good example of how, and this is where I kind of did my little research on things, where the federal government actually started to dictate how marketing was going to with kids. And these cartoons were examples where before it was strictly, it was a 30-minute commercial for kids to go and bug their parents to buy stuff. But if you remember both these guys, what happened at the end of every episode, it was your public service announcement. He-Man would talk about Orko and lying and how it just built upon each other. And you had Barbecue getting kids out of a fire because they were, not paying attention with their popcorn or something like that. This is really, I'm procrastinating on saying it because this is really hard. If I have to choose, I'm going to have to go with the Joes. The toys, the playing with it, the fact that I had, the 3 3/4-inch figures worked with my Star Wars figures at the times, because I didn't have a lot of the big play sets, but one thing I did have was my Millennium Falcon. And I'm telling you, how many times G.I. Joe had to take care of the aliens and flew away in a spaceship. It was great. That was the best time for a kid, when you can have a toy and a show that just kept you enthralled. And again, they're both still active today, so that proves that the formula for these two shows and these two brands work. It's a great formula. So
wow. All right, so that was the one we definitely had the most discussion on. So I'm curious to see what the vote is at. Sorry, I'm actually trying to do some stuff in the background, guys, for some later part of the segment. So let's see. Oh, the crowd sides with you two. G.I. Joe, 57%. I think that is probably one of the closest that we've had.
That is really close.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a tough one. I guess everyone was on the fence there, but that's the point of this or that. You got to pick one. So there we go. All right, so that is it, I believe, for this or that. Let me remove this from the stream real quick, and then we're gonna start talking about some. Oh, man, I can't believe we're already at 45 minutes.
This is I
didn't
even realize that.
I know.
This is going way slower than I thought. So, really quick though, I wanted to show off one thing that we have from Mike. He shared his Plex library with me the other week when we put this together, just to give me ideas and kind of run the gears on this old train to see if I can remember some stuff. So I just want to go through his list of cartoons that we can see here and see if anything comes out at you guys, Niles, Mike, the audience, and talk about some of these, maybe some of the things that you remember about them or
Mhm.
forgot that you remember about them, and
Who
just
was
talk
it?
about that.
Robot Show Tunes brought up one really good one, which is right on that front screen is that Bionic 6.
Yes.
Again,
Mike, I wrote that down on one of my things to talk about. I'll let you go ahead, but yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I
Wow.
don't even remember that
it
at
was
all.
the family, and it had the big robotic ape with it, and they all had their little bionic. They had to go all become bionic after an avalanche that they were all caught in. And I just remember I had one of the toys that I picked up at a yard sale when I was younger, and
Heavy as
it
could
was
be, those
it was
toys.
die cast, and there
Yeah,
was
all die cast.
and you're just like you never thought about something like that. Um, but that again, they tried to do the same formula that was successful with all these other shows. They had a variety of kids to get in there, and I just remember the one. It was the Bionics were kind of weird though. Like you had the father who was the typical strong man. I think the wife was telekinetic or something, but like the one kid like hit a baseball. He was a sports kid. I was like, yeah, whatever that part.
What? That was his power of baseball?
He was like a jock, and he would use he would, when he was fighting whoever, the Scarab was the enemy, I believe, he would hit a ball and knock them out or whatever. And I think this is a show, Mike and Henry, that I think the toys exceeded the actual cartoon of it, right? I mean, the idea was good, the intro was good. They also had a very popular song as well, but the toys were completely die cast. They were 3 3/4, if I'm not mistaken, and they were super heavy. So when I'm looking back, I remember the cartoon, but I really remember the toys much, much more than the cartoon. Like I couldn't tell you one thing that they did in the show. But yeah, that was one that stuck out because of the toys for me, quite frankly.
All right. So one thing that I'm going to add here, if you're going to talk about the show, you got to sing the theme song before you talk about it.
Oh wait,
All right.
You said
who threw
Bionic
the
6
super chat into this?
I don't remember what I just said actually now.
You said Bionic 6 had an iconic theme song. I don't know it. I need to hear it.
Oh,
it was like Bionic
Bionic
6.
6.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah.
There you go. You got it from both of us.
All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Well,
It's
all right.
in stereo.
That counts. That counts.
Yeah.
All right. Robot Chicken says Ulysses. I don't know if that's part of the song. Oh, he's talking about
yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Mother One. Yeah, Robot.
All right. So what else you guys got here? I mean, I feel like I want to talk about Animaniacs, but I don't know. I feel like there might be a little bit later than I would have liked.
Yeah.
That's part of
my formative years.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the weird thing that I was gonna segue in with is just, we talk about 80s, and that's where the biggest nostalgia hit comes in. But if you think about it as we go along, the 90s, you had everything was extreme by then. So I mean, we had 92, we had X-Men the animated series come out. Absolutely. See, there you go. And again, that you had that time where it's coming through, and then you get in the 2000s. I mean, that's where I was not into it, but I mean, you had things like, I guess was Pokemon late 2000s.
I think that was like late 90s when it
was
first
late
started.
90s. Okay, because we can say if we're talking nostalgia in the 90s, we started getting away from cartoon aspects, and next we had spandex people running around kicking putties, and again combiners with
hey,
the
this
Power
is
Rangers.
Cartoons that made us stay on topic here. Okay, we got to save some topics for other future
okay
shows.
all right so
but I mean, I think, man, it's so hard because when I did this and I was looking through, I was like, there's so many 90s cartoons, like the DC animated ones, the Marvel animated ones. But I want to save that because I think at least
that might be a whole
versus
topic
Marvel
by itself.
has got to be out there, whether it's movies, TV shows, live action or otherwise, or cartoons. I mean, I think each of those could be their own topic. Marvel versus DC, the movie verse. What about the TV verse? What about the cartoon verse?
Perfect. Okay, so as we go down here, I mean, you got GoBots. The
GoBots.
Yeah, the Kmart Transformers, if you want to call them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have any love for GoBots at all. None.
I just remember having the toys, and they were always the whipping boys for the Transformers. So
Yeah, that's how they deserve to be. Have they even had a second? Have they even had any sort of reboot at all in any form
I
of
don't
medium?
think so.
I remember Megatron Origins. There was a scene where he was in the arena and he was
It's like
fighting another robot that looked surprisingly like Psykill.
Yeah, I know. I
and-
definitely remember that little Easter egg.
Mhm.
All right, so let's
Um,
see. We already talked about Chippendales. Here's the new DuckTales. So clearly, Mike, you have seen it. Niles, have you seen this yet?
No, I'm definitely gonna watch it now,
You
guys.
better do
I've
some
not seen
homework.
it.
You're not going to be able to be back on the show unless you watch DuckTales.
I have to do my homework before I come back.
And I'm going to call out TM Reviews Sony. So T-Man and I, we're simpatico. We're always like, we got each other. Sony's in our 3-man group. He's always the odd man out. He's like, oh, I tried watching DuckTales with my daughter. She didn't like it. I was like, get out. I hate you and I hate your daughter. I literally said that to him.
Right.
Like, you cannot. How could you not love this show? Like, oh my gosh, you gotta watch that show. And again, we've already sang the theme song, so we don't have to talk about that one.
Mhm.
I don't remember the theme song to Exo Squad, but I did collect a lot of their toys.
Me too. Exo Squad was very good.
But I don't
Do you guys
remember
remember
anything about
Starcom?
it aside from
Starcom, I do remember that.
Because the toys were awesome because everything was magnetized and it had its own little spring-loaded feature. And I was collecting the hell out of those things.
They were very tiny too, if I remember.
Yes.
Right?
Man,
You always lost the.
Flintstones. That's a very different show because that's like sitcom-y. Reminds me of like the Nick and Night shows that were like that, the Honeymooners.
When it came out in the 60s, it was a primetime show
Oh man,
on TV. So I mean,
and Flintstones is iconic too. Man, I don't know why I didn't include them. Oh, man, I do love Flintstones. Not any of like the live action movies with John Candy.
John Goodman.
John Candy. Ooh, Gargoyles.
Gargoyles, very
now
good.
wait, you just said we weren't going to go past the 80s.
Oh, you're right. All right, we'll bring that back. I got to talk about that in another episode, though.
Well,
I think it's the 80s, early 90s. I think the latter half of 90s is like latter half 90s, 2000s.
And as you can see in the lower part of the section there, I got a little bit of 70s love too. Because again, growing up, Saturday morning was Super Friends, the Herculoids.
Yeah,
I mean, they were for us more experienced trailing edge boomer people. I mean, those.
Johnny Quest is another great one too, Mike.
Johnny Quest is the old one. I watched that.
Me too.
I also watched that. Remember that they used to do the Hanna-Barbera ones where like they were doing like a race, and it was like bringing all the cartoons together.
Wacky Races, I think.
Wacky Races.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot who I always rooted for. I always rooted for like one of the bad guys, and he like never won. It was like the most impressive thing ever.
Yes.
John Gavin in the comments mentions the Bots Masters. I don't know if you remember that show. It was in 3D. That was like the gimmick of the show where at a portion in the show they would say it's laser time, and you'd put on your your 3D glasses, and it would be 3D. That was a short-lived show. But there's a lot of these under the radar ones that were in the 80s as well.
Yeah. Mask. I know there are a lot of Mask fans out there.
Yeah.
What else we got? These are a lot newer. This show is great. This show is great. The Muppets. I guess. Oh, Muppet Babies. I love me some Muppet Babies. They also did a reboot of that. I don't know if it's still going on.
Did they?
Yeah, they did it it. I still think it's going on. I watched that with my kids too. Also very funny. I think the best part of about that show was like how it mixed like Star Wars clips into the show, and they would like do all these parodies. It felt like a more kid-friendly version of like Family Guy with all of the random like allusions and references, and I loved it. And the theme song again, the new one had a spin on it, but it's still the iconic Muppet Babies.
Okay.
So also a good show. What else we got? You know
Oh,
what show I never got into here? Oh, well, this is a little bit later, but Pinky and the Brain is also good.
mhm.
Kind of go hand in hand with Animaniacs.
Now, you were talking earlier about the difference between Eastern and Western cartoons. I mean, no, hitting Robotech. That's the first anime show I ever watched.
Me too.
And again, that was another one of those like it was so wild. I mean, just watching it and it was you're looking at it, you're like, wow, this is the action, the fighting, and who didn't want to have one of the Veritech fighters?
Right. And you had main characters that died, and I think
hurt really badly.
didn't Roy Fokker die? If
No, Roy died.
He really died, and I didn't know years later, but and then this is hindsight, but the three Robotech generations are completely three different cartoons that were redubbed, and I had no idea about that until recently. But that Robotech was definitely one of my favorite shows as well.
Oh, T-Man loves the Muppet Babies.
Looks
kind of weird.
Inspector Gadget.
How many people have done like Kermit's voice at this point? I feel like there's like 8 different people who've done Kermit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
Oh, Inspector Gadget. We need a crossover with his card. Somebody was mentioning Ren and Stimpy as well as Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, now we're kind of creeping into that late 70s and stuff, and it just popped in my head like Bullwinkle and
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yes. And just think about the things like even the old Tom and Jerry stuff that was in those cartoons would never even be thought of today. I mean,
never.
Yeah, they'd be like smoking Popeye. He always had a pipe. That guy was always smoking.
He's always had a pipe.
Yeah.
And he looked like he had a whole list of like health problems. He had like disfigured forearms. He always had like one eye closed, like he had suffered from a stroke or something like that. Like he had like his mouth all swollen because he was smoking too much tobacco and stuff like that. You're like, this guy's got to die, but he's eating spinach. So
I know, yeah.
My parents just make me always do that. Always say, "Hey, you want to be strong like Popeye, don't you?" And the other week we were at my parents' house and they had spinach there, and they said the same thing to him. I was like, "Dad, my kids have no effing clue
who Popeye is. Yeah,
they have no clue." Where else were we? Some of these are a lot newer. You got some of the Star Wars stuff.
SWAT Cats. I remember that.
Super Friends again. Some of the older Super Friends. SWAT Cats. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Oh,
that was a good one.
Was it called the SWAT Jet?
I think so. Like.
Oh man, I do love that show. That was great as well. Of course, the laundry list of Transformers: G1, Armada, Energon, Cybertron, Animated, Cyberverse Prime. You got them all in here.
Victory.
Wow. Victory even out there. Wow. Very cool. Visionaries. That was good.
Oh, here's Ulysses. I think Robo Show Tunes was talking about that. I need to have with a name like Robo Show Tunes, you got to come on the show and we got to just talk about show tunes or like theme songs. And you got to sing them all. With a name like Robo Show Tunes, I expect you to know them all.
Look, he's throwing out Garfield and Friends.
And Heathcliff. Remember Heathcliff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mario Brothers show. Oh my god.
I always thought Heathcliff was like the poor man's Garfield. I'm not gonna lie.
And then there was Riff Raff, which was like the other gang on Garfield. They lived in a junkyard. It was on the same show as Heathcliff.
Yeah. Lived in a junkyard. Come on, that's so sad.
It is.
All right. Well, we made it through this list. And we made it to an hour. I actually still have some more segments we need to go through. Man, we could definitely make a part 2 out of this. But all right, I'm going to cut it short just so we can try to keep it to an hour. I'm having a lot of fun. I could probably go on all night, but I want to be mindful of your time and everybody else's time as well. So hold on, let me stop this.
Winston, where have you been? Man, just showing up now.
Oh, Winston, you missed all the good stuff. We had polls going on,
everything.
Voting for which
controversial votes, right? Everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's all right. Where are the slides I was looking for? Okay, hold on one second. I need to bring the slides back up. All right, so this is where we left off. So Winston, you just missed this. We went through a number of this or that's. That's a segment where you vote. One vote, you get one vote. You got to pick one or the other. We did cartoons, obviously, this time. Just to show you what you missed. Thundercats versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We had Voltron versus Transor Z.
Yeah.
DuckTales and Chippendale. So go back and watch the rewind if you guys are catching it now.
And
Wonder what
robot
your votes are.
shows
Leave a comment if you disagree with some of the audience on what we voted, and disagree with me, Niles, or Mike on that. All right, so this is a quick one. I don't get a ton of comments, but I want to see more comments because I want to highlight some of the best comments. And to highlight that I don't get a lot of comments, the comment of the week is not even from one of my videos. It's from TM Review's video. I think it was his rig video. It's from King Rouse, and he's not even in the channel in the chat. I want to give him a hard time about this one, but King Rouse, he is a regular. He comes on these quite a lot, but he said, "Okay, I like the new video, Sony." That's TM Reviews. If you guys don't know, he's also in the chat, or maybe putting his daughter to bed. I don't know. He might be around. He said, "That's what's up, man. You're really good at this, and I'm always looking to see what you're going to do next. Keep it up, TM Reviews. My favorite channel for catching the latest third-party masterpiece Transformers. Great work, brother." Man, this guy goes on and on about how great he is. I can tell by far from your videos that you really love what you do. He definitely does. And I understand what you mean by having a passion for this. So I caught this. See, the timestamp literally says 5 minutes ago. I caught that shit right away. I was like, what?
Wow.
So I said, "Your favorite channel, huh?" I'll remember this comment for the rest of my live stream, King Rouse. But he's not even here. I could have. I wish he were here. I'm trying to call him out on that. But of course, I said, "Just kidding, just kidding." And then he replied with some lame excuse about, "Oh, well, you only do live streams now. I love those." And I wasn't having any of that. But I wanted to call him out. Love King Rouse. He's a great guy. So. I wish you were here to take advantage of this. I could take advantage of the situation, but unfortunately, he's not.
Right.
All right.
That is funny.
But yeah, I'd love to see more comments. I reply to like anything that requires a comment. I reply to like 99% of them. I'd love to see more. Again, that's what kind of this community Chatterday is about. More interaction between me and the people who watch my videos, and building up the community more. So definitely,
King Rouse is here.
Would love to see it. Was that?
Oh,
King
King
Rouse
Rouse
is
is here.
He's here.
Look at that.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Did somebody ping you and tell you that you're getting called out? I hope so. Because you got called out on the comment of the week. Negative comment of the week. So, but I know it was all in good fun. Obviously, I love PM on this show all the time with the monthly Transformers News Live. So definitely check that out. All right. We're not done yet. So don't leave yet. I want to come back to this one. I wanted to save some time at the end for a quick Q&A, letting people in the audience maybe ask us some questions about the topic. But let me hold on real quick because I think that segment might go long. So let me see what else I have here. All right. Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, so, you have put a lot of work into this, man.
I am
as the inaugural Chatterday community Chatterday. I wanted to do something special. I've talked about doing some more giveaways for a long time, and I have a pile of stuff that I don't intend to keep, but I've been too lazy to sell. So I figured I'd give one away. This is one I've showed for a while. I did an instruction manual for this one. It is, here, let me zoom in real quick on me. Can I zoom in real quick? All right, so it is the Iron Factory Void Legion. This is their kind of, I think, their, what's it called? Not Cyclonus. Help me out, guys.
Scourge,
yeah, but I forget. Okay, yeah. It's just Scourge, but it has a bunch of different pieces, so you can make them into his swarm, whatever it's called. So I'm gonna give this away. Basically, if I saw you comment in, let's bring this back. If I saw you comment in the live stream, I added you. That's why I was frantically typing while the others were for talking. So I think I got most everybody. I might have missed some, but I think I got most. I'm going to add just one or two more. So if I missed you guys, I apologize. It's just obviously I need somebody to help me with this in the future. I'm going to probably have to tag TM or T-Man to do this for me in the future if I decide to do this. But give me a second. Remove this. We're going to add in the other tab. So
Well,
we're going to do this.
While he's doing that, Niles, looking at your poster in the background for the Cybertronic Spring.
Yes.
They're doing a bunch of shows up here on the East Coast this spring.
Right. I got a chance to see them in either October or November, and I saw, they're playing again in March. So for those that don't know, the Cybertronic Spree covers pretty much all of the soundtrack of the 1986 movie, and they do a lot of other rock covers, and they're dressed in full RC, Hot Rod, Unicron, and really good show. Met a lot of people, and they played in New York City, so I had a great chance to see them. Very, very cool. I only got someone, I posted a video and I was like, oh, I've got to check these guys out. So but if you get a chance, go see them for
definitely.
Sure.
They're going to be up in Philly. They're going to be down here in Baltimore. I think they're going to be back up in New York. I just randomly checked it out today, so it's kind of ironic that your poster is right back there. So
awesome, man.
Yeah, I've always seen them post on Facebook. I always just kind of assumed that they did very few shows, but it's cool to know that they're doing a bunch of shows.
Yeah, they do a lot of tours.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 34, but only 30 are currently in the chat room. So you got to be here to claim your prize. I got to make sure that you claim it. I will send this to you. As long as you're in the U.S., I'll send it to you for free. If you're elsewhere, I'll work out how we'll get it to you. But so you got to be in the chat. I think I got everyone in here. Larkin donating $10. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the person is outside the U.S., I'll cover shipping.
Oh, Mike.
Wow.
That might be worth more than with COVID right now. That might actually be worth more than the actual prize itself.
It's all good.
All right, so let's go here. All right, let's get going. Again, thanks to Larkin's Lair. We got 34 people on the list, but only 25 live in the chat. So your chances are pretty good. All right, I did not include our two guests here, but let's see who we got.
All right.
We're spinning. All right. All right. I didn't know it was slowing down. We got Pop the Trunk. Pop the Trunk Boys. Are you in here? You got to claim it if you're in here. I'll give you a minute to claim.
All right. We need the Jeopardy music now, even though it's with.
All right. Come on, Pop the Trunk. All right. We'll give you another minute while we just talk about other stuff right now. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask the live stream group here, let us know. And we'll move on to that last segment. Hey, Mike and Niles, how much time do you guys have? I know it's getting kind of late.
I'm good. I got a little bit more time. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, good, because we talked about it earlier. We were like, we're going to try to keep it to an hour. I was actually worried about it maybe falling a little flat, not having enough to talk about. But clearly we blew through that, and we're still going strong. So we're going to keep going.
Excellent.
All right. Well, everyone's saying
I don't see him yet.
I don't see him.
Well, while we're doing it, let's do a couple shout out to some people. Deformers, speaking about falling into this community, one of the things I'm trying to work on is doing a video log of me trying to build these dioramas. I was influenced by individuals like him and Bobby and Crashbox Customs and everything. So I frivolously bought a bunch of stuff that's down in my workshop. So I'm going to try to put my displays together and create some stories. And these guys are like great influences for creativity and such. So again, I'm glad to see you there, and a lot of the other regulars, Steve, G. Tony, the man who single-handedly supplies TM reviews with a bunch of great figures.
Yeah, I hate that.
I hate that guy.
I'm not talking about G-Tony. I'm talking about TM reviews. And G-Tony.
Yes.
Depop says we are a bunch of nerds talking about toys on Saturday. What else you got to do?
We are middle-aged people with kids, and
yes.
I don't feel like dealing with people going to the bars anymore.
All right. We're spinning the wheel again. Sorry,
Let's
Papa
run it
Trunk.
back. Run it back.
I know you've been here a bunch of times. I'm sure it was just getting late. Over an hour of time is a lot to dedicate, but you snooze, you lose. So let's go again.
We
Let's go
appreciate
again.
you guys sticking out.
Who we got? Man, this just goes on a little too long. Oh man! Should I kick him out of the chat?
Oh boy! He's still here.
Man's here.
He's definitely here. He just crossed his fingers.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna get comments saying this shit was rigged now. This happens that it was T-Man after Pop the Trunk was not here. So T-Man, he lives just in Baltimore near you, Mike. Obviously a good friend. I should have put him on here. I think he should be excluded as a moderator, but we're gonna give it to him this time.
Yep.
All right, T-Man. Well, you're gonna get yours. I know you're not a big Legends collector, but you got the sweeps coming to you, or at least one of the sweeps in a bunch of sweeps gears. So
all right,
you got it. Memo,
congratulations,
man. You got here so late. We just did a giveaway. And look at Tony. Tony's saying rigged. Rigged. I'm not gonna lie. If I was on the other end, I'd be saying that shit too. So all right.
Welcome to the first episode. You got plenty of other chances as long as you keep coming back, folks.
Yeah, come back. Exactly. I want to do more of these. I'm super happy.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, so keep talking. I'm gonna bring back this. At this point, I don't even remember what else I have on this slideshow at this point. I think we're near the end though.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Since we're all fathers, if there's one show that you remember from your youth that you would pass on to your child and say, if anything that I want you to remember, it's this show, what would it be?
I mean, for me, it's Transformers. I mean, I have a 9-year-old daughter and a almost 5-year-old son, and even if they, it just seems to intrigue them out of everything that they've seen, and they've watched Rescue Bots when they were much younger, right? And whatever the slew of other Transformer universe toys that are there and shows are on Netflix, they seem to really gravitate towards that. And it seems that maybe kids nowadays are a little bit more inclined to be mechanical and tinkering with things. So the toys aspect of it, and again, the whole universe of it is very intriguing to them. And that's something that I think I've definitely forwarded to them already. But it's the just different dynamics of the Transformers and the stories. So for me, that's a no-brainer. Transformers universe. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like that's so hard because if I had to leave something with them, I don't know that I would leave Transformers, especially G1. I feel like that's more of a good show in terms of our minds, but watching, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Man. So here's a weird one. So I've been watching One Piece. If you guys are anime or manga fans.
Yeah,
I started watching One Piece with my kids during COVID, and we're at episode 700 now. Like they've been steamrolling through it, and they love it. And I love it because I can watch with them, and we enjoy it really thoroughly together. And when I watch Transformers with them, they'll watch it because it's on, but I feel like some of the cartoons, especially in the West, are a little, I don't want to say immature, but I feel like there could be themes that are, I don't think we need to dumb down cartoons as much as we think for kids. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And while there is some language and some, more adultish themes in One Piece, I feel like that they've been able to grow up towards it, even though they're only 7 and 11 respectively. And I feel like that show I never would have said before, but I haven't gone through it. I'm really glad that I can share that show with them, that piece of my love that I have for them. Because I have like One Piece memorabilia. I religiously read the manga every week. So I'm not going to go Transformers. I think I'm going to go with One Piece.
Okay.
And there are probably others that I would love to share with them, but um, I think I got to go with One Piece.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right,
How
Mike,
about you, Mike? Yeah.
Well, this is something I've tried. Again, for those that don't know, like my son is adopted, and we adopted him when he was 12. So I didn't have that time and experience with him growing up. So it was really it's been an experience in trying to see how he relates to these older cartoons versus the stuff we have now. I've tried showing him Transformers. Ironically, he would rather sit here and play with a figure here and do the puzzle aspect of it, but following it, he can't. He has no interest. It doesn't resonate with him the same way, and that's something I think that is indicative of like how children today are coming up, and it's really different. It really truly is. So I don't have one yet that I've been trying to, or that has stuck, I should say. I've done the trifecta. Between Transformers, GI Joe, you got Thundercats. Shown him each one of those things, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah." But then one thing you were pointing on when we had my Plex server up was Phineas and Ferb. He was obsessed. He's like, if you can get that on there, I'll watch it. And he still does. He goes back and clicks through everything. So I don't have an answer for the question I asked.
Come on, that's a cop out.
I know. I will keep trying with Transformers, though it's not the first choice. It is the one that I can explain the best with, and I have visual aids to help. So
yeah, I mean, my son was really into it when he was younger. He liked the toys. I tried to get him into it, and he was collecting them with me for a bit, but then he just like grew out of it and lost interest pretty quickly. So one side story though, this past TFCon Baltimore, this father and son came up, and this kid wanted a blue streak, and his father said that he collects Masterpiece, and then he always gets his son the mainline equivalent, and they grow their collection together. And I was like, that is awesome.
That's
and when
really
he
cool.
said that, I instantly just gave him a blue streak. And he took it. He was like, really? You don't have to do that? We're going to buy it. I was like, no, like that story was awesome and warms my heart. And then I got home that weekend, and I got a Facebook message from the father showing the son's blue streak next to his dad's Masterpiece.
That's awesome. That really
under
is.
the shelf that had like the pairs together, and I was like, I think that's what Mike wants to do, right? Not even just sharing cartoons, but being able to share in your hobby and not like forcing it on them.
Right.
Like, oh, I love this, so you have to love this. But organically seeing it grow together, I think that's something that I wish I had something like that. I think One Piece is currently the only thing I have that's kind of like that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. I don't think we've had a lot of questions. So again, this Q&A segment was to try to get folks who are in the audience to ask any questions about the topic to this panel, a very handsome gentleman here, but it doesn't look like we got any.
Where the hell are you talking about? All right.
Like you provided one, which was very cool. I think that was a really good one. Got a little serious there for a second. I got to bring it back and bring back my sarcasm.
So I'll ask one question.
Okay.
Out of all of the shows from the 80s and, ones we've been talking about, what is in need of a reboot?
Oh my, I knew you were going to ask.
I know. I was waiting for this one to come up. First question is, if you're talking about this cartoon and the nostalgia and the time that it was out, does it need rebooted? or will it
That's
change everything?
So one thing that I got out of Transformers, and we kind of touched upon it when we were talking about just now these different shows, is that a lot of these are the story arc ends in one episode, right? And then maybe that has something to do with the attention span. But when we look at things like Robotech and other shows like that, that are much more, their storylines go across whole seasons and episodes. I don't think that, I think there are fantastic shows from the 80s, but to see a new interpretation, a new continuity, and just take the idea and impetus for having a reimagining of the story, but stretched out to involve more things, right? And to flesh out more backstories. I think that that's one thing that I always, think about of, what happened to that character or whatever the case may be is. And for me, it's, I definitely, I think that, that reimagining would be good to see on a variety of episodes,
Okay.
Man, I feel like a lot of the ones I would want a reboot on, they've done reboots and they've done a decent job. Oh man. All right. Well, Mike, you try to answer while I scroll through your
Well,
plan.
it does come down to what you said. There have been reboots that have come around and continued iterations. T-Man mentioned earlier, TMNT. How many times has that show and the new continuity and the new retelling been on TV? I mean, and it's never really gotten old. Successful reboots, in my opinion. The Voltron on Netflix, that series was really well done. It took a very
well done. Yeah.
adult turn without turning it into too much. It still kept that allure for waiting for that moment when they can work the lions and combine together. We already said DuckTales, a great reboot. There have been so many that have been looked at, and some that have been rebooted but weren't successful. Again, we can pull back into the 90s with like G.I. Joe and Sigma 6 and such, but that's a different topic altogether. But there are some that I don't really want to. I don't want them to change. I don't want them to try something new. And we're seeing it now. I mean, X-Men the Animated Series is going to be renewed. Showtunes just read my mind as I was thinking it. I'm kind of skeptical.
It's a continuation,
I don't know.
So it's not even like a reboot. It's a continuation of the.
I don't know.
I heard that it was. That's going to be like it's not rebooting. It's literally picking up. The animation is going to be in the same style and everything like that.
But they say it could be a continuation of stuff, but the writing from the 90s and writing from today is different. So I don't know how. I'm hopeful they can catch that lightning again and get these compelling stories and move it forward. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the cynical side of me. I've already kind of explained my thoughts between the two reboots of Master of the Universe. Both have their good aspects. Both, are different. But if we're going to pull and say every 80s cartoon needs to be redone. Well, I can't. There's some that I don't think should be touched.
Man, I've been looking through this list and I can't think of a. Well, all right. Well, I'll do kind of a cop out because I think they said they're going to do it possibly. So I talked about DuckTales, the reboot, and then having a lot of crossovers. One of the main ones, recurring ones, was Darkwing Duck. And so DuckTales ended, but they were saying that they're going to continue that universe with a Darkwing Duck reboot. Or reboot, kind of, yeah. So I actually like the origin story or retelling that they do of Darkwing Duck. They actually do an origin story inside DuckTales.
Wow. Okay.
Which was really cool. So again, you got to watch it to understand it. But if they do that, I'm really excited for that. And I also really like Tailspin. They did a lot of Tailspin in the new DuckTales, but I would like to see Baloo back. They didn't have Baloo. So I think maybe something like that. But I also agree that some things may be better left alone for good or for for better or for worse.
Mhm.
Some just because they're iconic and you should just leave them alone, and others where they were just so bad, like they shouldn't try to milk nostalgia with a bad property anyway.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true. Yeah.
I think we should bring back Turbo Teen.
Turbo Teen.
Yes,
Uh,
Dinosaurs, Denver, the Last Dinosaur. I don't think they need a rebooting, right?
No.
That's right.
No, Turbo Teen was the kid that if he got really hot and sweaty, he turned into a car.
Yeah.
Oh, I do kind of remember that.
He looked like Plastic Man, if anyone remembers
Yes.
that. Or that's what it reminds me
Yeah.
of anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So.
definitely.
All right. So I think we're nearing the end here, fellas. No. I really thought we'd
No
have more questions
comments.
from the
No.
audience.
Questions.
Oh, one question I'll have for you guys, and this is just to boost my ego a little bit. What
Oh
is the
boy.
first Pig for Life reviews you guys remember watching?
Oh boy.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
I think it was Jetfire Fans Toys. I think I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I remember that. You know, I got into collecting Masterpiece probably about 2018 or 19. And at the time, that's when Fans Toys or a lot of third parties were not reissuing a lot of things. So I was going back and watching reviews on what I wanted. And your review of Jetfire, which is still one of my favorite figures and a great video. And because of that, I started watching your videos mainly for the transformations. And then when you started doing more of the live streams, I really enjoyed those. So that was the first one that I remember watching for sure.
Awesome. All right.
I think for me it was one of your transformation videos, and for some reason it strikes me that the cassettes, the MMC cassettes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
So-
the official ones I did for Mastermind Creations.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
but I'm stretching on that one. I can't remember. I mean, because they're
That's
they're all
that's
so
fairly
good,
recent.
Henry.
Fairly recent. All right. Well, I just wanted to find out how far you guys. Because Mike, when you said that you got back in during like the lockdown, I was like, man, I didn't know it was that recently that you got pulled back into it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, it was one of the things like I would sit there and watch. We'll say I think it was MGO, or God, Optibotomus or whatever, or even Bolt Matrix. It was just watching the news and seeing these these new toys, and it was just got everything cooking again, and I don't know, I just kind of fell back into it. And then disposable income and time, and next thing you know, my wife's like, "Why are all these things coming to the house?"
Yes.
What things are you talking about?
Oh, that's a question I want to ask actually. How supportive or distraught is your spouse regarding your collecting habits? This
Wow,
one or your
that's
other
funny.
Oh,
So Niles, how's your significant other?
My wife has called it a slow burn, so to speak, because I'm definitely that meme that says, oh, I won this, or oh, I'm Paige sent it to me, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. Is I mean, she knows. She's always encouraged me to be involved in all of my hobbies. I think that you have to enjoy yourself, and all those sort of things. And Transformers and collecting has definitely been at the forefront of it. So, she like for instance, like this is kind of like my downstairs office area. Like she's not thrilled that like I have posters and stuff everywhere, but she's a really, really good sport. And usually, despite me buying my own, usually on Father's Day and my birthday, I'll get a bunch from her and the kids and stuff like that. So, and now she says it's easy to buy for me, whereas in the past, it's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, like shrug your shoulders. And now like I make a wish list and I'm like giving it to my daughter to hand to her. So yeah, overall, she's totally supportive and everything. So yeah.
Nice.
yeah, my wife's the same way. I mean, we jokingly started out with like, I kept her. I started growing the collection here in the back bedroom, and she'd be like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going downstairs to see what's going on, and maybe clean up a little bit." And at the same time, a package arrived and such. But as she's going along, and I've said, "Hey, I'm gonna try to build these things." I showed her some videos of Bobby and such, and then with the live streams and the news that Sony and T-Man and Henry are on, now she jokingly says, "Oh, you're on with your Toy Boys again." I'm like,
Toy boys.
yeah,
Toy
they love
boys.
that.
Oh,
So, she's like,
oh,
"Oh," because she knows it's like, "Oh, it's Wednesday, and you know, you got to take Miller to soccer practice." And as soon as we get back, and it's like 9 or something, she's like, "Oh, you got to get on the computer, don't you?" I'm like, "No, I got my phone here." It's like, "Oh, well, tell the boys we said hi." I'm like,
Nice.
"Yeah,"
That's
but
cool.
she's been really cool about it. You know, she's like, as long as the bills are paid and you're not, you know, going and going completely nuts with something, I don't care. She's like, I buy my own stuff as well. We all have our hobbies, but you know, unlike what you were just saying, Niles, where you know you come up with a list, she'll be like, "Well, what do you need?" I'm like, "I already got it. It's already
Yeah.
pre-ordered or anything like that." And she's like, "Well, okay."
That's funny,
So,
man.
oh,
ooh,
Tony
yeah.
77,
uh,
which toy
Henry,
line?
what about you? What is your spouse say
Yes.
before we
My
get
my
Tony?
wife is kind of like Mike's, just like as long as the bills are paid and I don't have to deal with it. Like she gets mad when I start encroaching outside
Right,
of my
right.
office.
Yeah.
So first it was like just a couple boxes here and there. Then it was a shelf, an extra bookshelf, and now it's just like more and more stuff. So then I had to put stuff in the storage unit, which I showed a little bit of, I think, a
Last
Yeah,
year
I
year.
remember
ago.
that
Then
video. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that was not even all of it. So
Wow.
The,
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 once it starts
the,
getting into past the living room couch, like the sectional, where it starts getting into like the projector area, she's like,
Right.
no, no, bring it back, bring it back, get organized or sell it. But overall,
uh,
she doesn't care. But
what does she do on package wrapping nights when you're on the
oh
floor up
man,
in the area?
so I think she just on those nights she just knows that like I'm just gonna be up packaging for like an hour or 2 hours, so she
Wow.
just lets me do my thing. But I try to keep. She's just more like, why are there 6 cases in my living room? Like she doesn't like
Yeah.
things just being in front and center, just blocking stuff. So I need to once the boxes come in from Eddie, I'm like, I got to move it to the basement or I have to move it to a corner, get it organized because she's not happy when it's like in her face or like in the view of the other public. So I got to make sure that that's all kind of cleaned up.
All
Um,
right.
all right, so some good questions. I think the only
Yeah.
question that we got is from Tony77. We'll just take this one question and then we'll sign up. We're already over an hour and a half.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
which toy
Wow.
line do you like most? Mine's easy, masterpiece. That's quick and
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah,
Third
mine
party and
is
first party
mine.
both.
Yeah, mine is the same as Paig's first party and third party. I have looked and have almost gone down the Robotech wormhole, so to speak. But I just think that that's like really teetering and being I think focusing on one collection is enough for me, and for that, it's really just Transformer Masterpiece. I have a couple of things at my office at work that I'll keep on my desk. I have a small Veritech, but as far as like collecting a full line, it's just Transformer Masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah, I started branching out with different things. There was G.I. Joe Classified, and then with Transformers, I was dabbling between Mainline and Legends, and then finally I was like, no, I got to cut back and really focus on one that I like the most. So definitely Masterpiece third party, um, and staying with that route is where I feel most comfortable with. But CM Reviews had a good question, which relates to a lot of things, but I guess my response to him, if that is, how do you know when you're done with your collection? Is how do you know when you're done enjoying something?
Mm,
When is enough? And it kind of goes back to our discussion for tonight in regards to cartoons. When do you ever feel like you want to let go of that nostalgic feeling? You know, when I say to you guys, what's a good cartoon theme song? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
Right now?
Transformers,
Yeah,
yeah,
right
right
now.
now, right
What,
now.
what,
For some reason, X Men because we are just talking about it.
okay. Yep. See, for me, it was Mask.
Oh, really?
It just popped right in, and that's the thing. It's like it still resonates. So when you say you're done with your collection, is it regards to do you have a checklist, or am I doing, say, with Transformers? Is it just seasons 1 through 3? Is it movies? Is it Bayverse? Which, if it's Bayverse, please go elsewhere.
Hey, the
Um,
Bakers toys are great. I'm not gonna hate on them. The third party
no,
ones are awesome.
no, and you guys have shown some really great figures in there. I mean, it's a hard question to ask and to really answer is when you're done.
For me, I don't know if I'll ever really be done. I mean, there's been ebbs and flows where I'm aggressively going and collecting more, but I mean, the past Seeker Starscream mold really just put it into question for me because
Yeah.
I came in at, I guess, 2018 or so. So the Mach-E Seeker molds that was it. I got those 3. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is, that part of my brain had shut off for needing the Seekers. But then, you see the Deformation Space or the new Takara mold. And, I went in on them. So for me, I think, or replacing some of the, plus versions. I've done that a couple of times. So for me, it is sort of matching that ideal, mold or character to fit what it is that you have in your head, So it's just like you're on this quest, and as long as it doesn't consume you and, you have enough hit points and you're going, I think it's all right. But yeah, so I really have replaced a lot of molds over the last year. And so with that, I don't think I'll ever really stop collecting. So
Yeah. But these are great topics. I mean, for stuff going on, and something that with my wife, with her occupation, she always asks, "Well, how do we know? How do you keep these collections safe?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Say God forbid a fire happens. What happen? What do you do with this collection?" But she's an insurance person, so it just kind of flows into a whole different realm, which is a lot more boring than cartoons.
I've thought about insuring my collection before, but then I would actually have to go through and value it, and then if I
itemize it, yeah.
if I saw what my number is, my body count for toys, as it were, I think that would be when I would be done, because I'd be like, "Holy F! I can't believe I spent this much. I gotta stop."
Yep.
Like that might be that's
a whole other topic right there.
Right.
Because I have been that anal retentive, and I kept a spreadsheet of inventory, like when I pre-ordered something versus when I've paid it off.
Wow.
And shipped.
Okay.
Today I got XTB Jansen, so I had to mark off there that the date it was delivered and all this other stuff, and it's a whole other aspect of collecting, which again we could talk probably a whole episode about, is how do you view your collection, how do you maintain it, what is it about the collection that when you look at it, it gets you that feeling, what's that dopamine hit whenever you look at something, or you put a new, you swap out a character for another one, and things like brand loyalty comes into play. G Tony, thanks. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that we could go on about. So you guys keep putting these questions out, and these, hopefully, Henry, you're taking these into account for the next episode.
That's what this slide is for. So next time, there's a bunch of people who have asked. So if they can participate. So I've been trying to get more and more people. If you're interested, I put it in the description box below. A couple ways you can hit me up. Facebook is what I've used in the past. I know a lot of people don't use Facebook. So literally today, I started a Discord channel, a server, and one channel specifically for anybody who wants to talk about joining the community Chatterday. So this is the Discord link. Again, I have it in the description box below, so it's easy for you to click. You can get in there. You'll go into this general channel and just say hi. You can talk about anything. Right now, I literally just started it up. The only channels there right now are the general one, which everyone has. There's a Chatterday one that's hidden. And then there's a Pake Hates FT, because somebody, I think Iris joked about, hey,
I love that. That's great.
Pake Hates FT channel. And that's an ongoing joke. So I went and created that. But so if you want to be part of this, if you want to be the next guest, like the next Niles or the next Mike, although neither of them can ever be replaced as the first guest on Chatterday. But if you want to join and you have topics you want to talk about, please contact me any way, which way you can. Facebook, join the Discord, and then let me know you want to be in the Chatterday channel. And then we already have a list of topics that we've already identified, including more that just came out today. We can do part 2 on this. We can do 90s cartoons, 2000s cartoons. But right now we got topics like Anthony, who was in the chat. He wanted to do one on anime a year ago when I talked about bringing that in. Sounds like Niles would be down for that.
Yeah,
Mike wants to do collection displays or dioramas or something like that. I want to talk about gaming. I want to talk about Steve. Also, Steve C. I think he was in the chat earlier. He brought some other ones up, like just talking about the community, what that means. Maybe like for us in Northern Virginia, we used to do before COVID. We used to do pretty frequent local meetups, stuff like that, talking about your community in your local area. Or if you don't have one, who is your community? Is it online? And then Steve also wanted to talk specifically about Legend Scale. So there's a lot of ideas. I want you guys to come into the Discord, share your ideas, volunteer as for one topic or 10 topics, whatever have you, and then we'll start getting organized from there. So I definitely want to keep this going. I had a ton of fun, and I think that's in no small part to our first guests, Niles and Mike. I think you guys were awesome. Never talked to Niles before 10 minutes before this live stream went live, aside from organizing this. Mike had only talked to you in person at TF Con Baltimore, but had a blast going 1 hour and 40 minutes already. So I want to do this more, bring more people, not just 3 people. We can have 5 people, 10 people. Hey, if we have 20 people, I'll pay for StreamYard Pro or whatever, where we can have more people on. So
there you go. Definitely, this has been fun, and I thank you for allowing me to be on this tonight. It's been a great way to spend a Saturday evening, actually.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much for organizing this and reaching out to this and providing a platform, because this stuff is a lot of fun and great for the community as well too. So we really appreciate that.
Yes, I love having you guys here. Thanks again. And once you're on once, you're kind of in the family. So if you guys want to come in later, or if somebody bails on me last minute, I'm going to just be like, hey, Niles, you need to come on this Saturday, because
Absolutely.
We missed somebody. So again, thanks a lot everyone for joining. At some point, I think we had like 40 something people for our first episode, which was more than I was ever hoping for. Just people talking about nerdy stuff that's not specifically Transformers related. So thanks again for all of you guys who joined. Let me know if you guys want to be part of the next one. But with that, I think we'll let everyone go.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.